Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Satish. In this video, we are going to discuss about Streamlit. Before jumping to the video, we need to understand what problem Streamlit is solving. Streamlit is a web development tool. It creates a front end of the application. But there are so many amazing tools available there like a Django, React, Flask. Then what is special with the Streamlit? The Streamlit is solving the problem in machine learning area. All the data scientists, they usually work in a Jupyter notebooks. They create their model in the Jupyter notebook. They visualize in the Jupyter notebook. They do all work in the Jupyter notebooks. But whenever they want to show the results to the stakeholders, they cannot simply show the Jupyter notebooks to the stakeholders because they might not understand what this Python code is and it is very irrelevant for them. So it is better to show it in a simple web page. And all the traditional applications, you need to know a lot of things like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, etc. By using Streamlit, it is very easy and fast to develop a web page. You can't believe it just requires only 2 lines of code to launch a web page. I'll show you in a while. Let me share my screen. So here we have a Visual Studio Code with empty folder called Streamlit, and let me open a command prompt here. We just need a Python and pip as a prerequisite, nothing else. So we can install Streamlit using a pip install Streamlit and just hit enter. So as soon as you install the application, just type Streamlit and then hello. So this is the demo page which is launched as soon as we hit Streamlit hello. This page itself is showing some example how to read a data frame. For example, here if you want to add some filters or remove some filters like India, etc. Okay, and also like plotting some kind of a graphs in this page. Streamlit.io is the official website of the Streamlit. As soon as you enter the web page, you see the button called Try the Live Playground. You click on it to try the playground. So using this, you do not have to install the Streamlit in your laptop. You can practice here itself. The Streamlit itself is providing some example here. For example, simple hello button and then the chats, data frame and LLM chat, etc. So you can choose any one of them or you can start with a blank. So here the Streamlit is already imported. Then you can start writing your own code. For example, I'm typing Streamlit title. This is playground. And it will display over here. Here you go. You can see the output over here. Similarly, you can write anything. Maybe I want to add some caption to it. Caption. This is my caption. And just wait. So it is showing up over here, right? It's cool, right? So I will show you how to read the official documentation of the Streamlit. You need to click on the docs button over here. And once it is launched, then you need to go to the API reference over here. Then let me reject. So here you can see the text element, data elements, chat elements, all these things we were discussing. The same thing I have written in my utility tool as well. You can see over here in some much cleaner way. Like when you click on the text, it will show what are the main functions in the text elements. Similarly, today we are going to discuss about data elements like the data frame, data editor, table, etc. The same thing you can see over here as well. For example, if you expand this data elements, these are the full list of functions this data elements is having. This is how you can read the official documentation. Okay, now let me share my Visual Studio Code. I'm creating a file called myapp.py. Here, as I said, you just need 2 lines of code, which is a import Streamlit as st, and then I'll use a title. Welcome to Streamlit tutorial. As soon as you completed writing your code, just go to your command prompt. Let me clear the screen and just run Streamlit. Then run and name of your file. Just hit enter. Okay, here it is launching a page now. You can see it's again on the localhost 8501. So whatever the content we have given, it is showing up here. Welcome to Streamlit tutorial. It is as simple as that. So how many lines of code we have written? It is just 2 lines of code which is launched our web page. So like that, there are several inbuilt functions available in Streamlit. Let me go through all of them. Here I have created a small utility. In fact, this utility itself is created using Streamlit. And here there are text elements. If you click on it, you can see what are the things. Now we have used title, right? So if you click on this title, it will show some kind of a help page for the title, and also it will give you some example what you need to do. This is what exactly we have done, like import Streamlit as a st, and then we did like a st.title. Similarly, there are all other things are available here, like a caption, badge, all of them. Let me go through each one of them, then you can understand. Maybe let me minimize this tool, let me put it on the left side, and so that parallel you can see what is going on as we are progressing. So what are the other keywords we have here? The first one, as I told you, title. Then the next one is a caption. So this is a caption. Just save it. You don't need to restart the application. Just save it. So here it detected our file is changed. So you can rerun it, or you can simply click on always run so that it will get all our changes. Okay. After caption, you can also done like something like a header, subheader, and then the text. These are all like going in a order, like this one is a h1 tag, then this is a h2 tag, and this is a h3, and this is the normal text. You can also write some markdown like this. This is a markdown text with the italic and bold text. And then if you want to display some kind of a code here, and also you can add the line numbers also as a true, so that it will display the line numbers one. Let's assume I want to write a multiple lines code here. Let me put 3 colons here, and then here also. Maybe I want to put another print. Hey. Okay. So you can see this over here. So this is another print command which is came in a line number 2, st.badge. So if you want to display some kind of a badge or something, it will show up here. I think you can also change the color of the badge, like a color to orange or red, anything you want. Let's say green. There is another tool called st.echo. This is mainly useful in case if you want to print the code as well as its output. For example, a equal to 10, and then b equal to 20, and then if you want to write a sum of a plus b, this will show up here. So see, it is like a writing code as well as the output. And after this, we have status elements. For example, if you want to display some success message, this is a success message, then it will show up here in a green color. And similarly, the info message which comes in a blue color, and then the warning which comes in a yellow, and then the error which show up in a red color. And there is another one called the st.exception. It will show an exception here. This is very good to display the stack trace of the errors. This is pretty basic, right? No fun. Let me show you something interesting. For example, let us build a progress bar which shows the progress of a particular activity. Let's give maybe the progress text as downloading in progress. Oh, this is good. Operation in progress. Please wait. And then let's assign it to my bar equal to st progress, and the initial value I'm putting it as 0, and the text we are giving it as a progress test. And then let's try to increment it. Though maybe what we can do is we can let's use a for loop %complete, and then let's use as it is. The system is giving me some suggestions. I'm using those suggestions as it is. So here you can see the operation. It is pretty fast. Maybe let me introduce some time delay, time.sleep. Then it will go slow. I think we need to import the time as well since we are using it. Let me import the time. Import time. Save it. Then we should be good now. See? If you see here, the progress bar is slowly going. Here, I just added a time delay. But in the reality, the actual use cases will be like, let's suppose you are training a model or you are downloading something. You can put that into this progress bar so that it will show the progress over there. And also there is another amazing tool called Spinner. The Spinner is like it acts similar to the progress bar, but it will just kind of loads over here. Let this run, or let me click on always rerun. Oh, there is a syntax error. What is that? With Spinner. Yeah, we need to put with in front of the Spinner. That's all. So once this progress bar is done, you can see a nice spinner. See here, this goes loading for 2 seconds, right? Similarly, there is also another utility called status, or let me comment it out so that our page operation will be faster. So if you are running a multiple operations and if you want to show their progress, then you can click on this one. It's like searching, found URL, downloading, like this. It will show a status of all those elements. Let me comment these operations. We introduced some delays over there. And then let me show you there is another funny utility called balloons. Let me click on always rerun. As soon as it launched, it will just show a balloon. Maybe it makes more sense if you put it in some button, like for example, button. Instead of click me, let me put it as a kind of celebrate. And then if this button is clicked, then I want to launch the balloons. As soon as we click it, the balloons are coming up. Similar to balloon, there is another utility called snow. So it works in a similar way, but the snow will fall from the top. Amazing. With this, we have completed text elements and the status elements. Let me go through the input widgets. This is most important thing because actually we have seen one of the input widgets already. The button is one of them, one of the input. And then after that, st.text input. So it will take the input, or maybe we can put, instead of enter some text, we can put it something like username or something. It makes more sense to build some kind of a form. Okay. And then we do not have a password like a st.password over here, but what we can do is we can use the same text input and then type equal to password. Username is Satish and the password is do you want to see what password I have given? If you come this long, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, enough promotion. And then we have st.number input. Enter any number. The number input takes 3 values, like what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, at what step we need to increase or decrease. And then we have we also have a text area which shows like some multi-line text, so we can write multiple lines over here. This is my text in multiple lines. Okay, and then we can do a date input. See, this is a nice date field. We can choose these dates, and then we can also write the time input similar to the date. Let me scroll down here. You can see the time input, and then you can have it. Oh yeah, color picker is also another amazing tool. See, from here you can choose whatever the color you want. Maybe let me go to some red color or something. Yeah, something like this. And then in fact you can print all these values in the web portal. For example, let me show you this. Let's assign this value to a variable called d, and then you can print it over here, right? And then d. See, or you can just choose some other date. It will change over here as well. And then we have some toggle button, like enable. See, the nice enable and disable toggle button. And then a radio button. Maybe let's put gender, and the options are male, female, other. So you can choose the gender, male, female, other, whatever you want. And then the checkbox, this is a nice like a checkbox over here. And then you can add a drop down box as well called a select box. You can put multiple options over here. And then you can also give a multi-select box. For example, there are multiple options. If you want to choose not only single one, then you can use this one. I want a banana, I want apple, etc. And then what else do we have? st dot slider. Oh, this is amazing tool. Like we can choose a slider over here, and you can also choose a single value. Let's say maybe if I want to put it in a 0, it will show up here. Then you can just drag this any place within that range. And I will show you another amazing feature now. This is called, for example, you have multiple options. Let's say you have option 1, option 2, option 3. And if you need to choose among these options, there is a feature called pills. Like a choose options, and the options it will show in a nicer way here. Option 1, option 2, and option 3. And there is another similar thing which is called segmented control. Segmented control, choose option and options. The only difference between pills and segmented control is the pills looks like a small pill shaped icons, and the segmented control stacked into a single bar over here. More or less its operation is similar. And there is another amazing utility called a feedback. It will accept 3 type of options. One is called stars, like how many star rating you are giving. Thumbs, so it will be like dislike kind of buttons over here, like and dislike. The another one is called faces. It will give the mood. You can select among them. So with this we have completed with the input widgets. If anything is left, you can just give a try on your own. So in the previous video we played with myapp.py, and in addition to that I have added 2 more CSV files. These files we will be loading them into the data frame, and I'll show you the example. So let me start creating a new file. Let's name it as a part02.py, and then let me import Streamlit. Import Streamlit as st. As we are going to deal with the data frame, so let me import pandas as well. Import pandas as pd, and let me read the CSV file into the pandas data frame. Data frame df equals to pd dot read CSV, and then let's give the name of the file sample products.csv. Let me double check the name of the file is correct or not. It's a sample underscore products.csv. That's correct. And once we read it, all we need to do is just put it in the Streamlit data frame. That's all. So let's start the Streamlit application. Streamlit run part 02. It should open up a web page over here. As you can see, the data in the CSV file loaded up in the web page. Okay, so it is having the columns like product, price, in stock, rating, and sales last 6 months, the website address, and then image, URL. This is pretty basic, right? Let's add some more details to it. Maybe let me start adding one title over here. Title, data elements, exploration, and then let's save the file. It will add the title over here. So it detected file is changed. Let me click on always rerun. So it added the data elements exploration. Now if you see, it is showing the index as well. You can turn off this index with a parameter called hide index equal to true. So it should remove that index from here. If you remember from the previous video, we have multi-select, select, and different input widgets, right? We can incorporate those input widgets in this data frame, and we can implement a filter functionality. So let me choose a multi-select over here, and then let me give the name of the field as a select the product, and then the options will be either we can give laptop, mouse, keyboard here, but if it is a dynamic table, it's better to give the dynamic values over here. So let's give df, and the column name is product. So it will display all the values from product to column in the search option. See, pretty cool, right? You can select something like this. Keyboard. All right. So here we have added the multi-select, but we did not link these values to our data frame. Let's do that now. So here we need to capture the output of this multi-select. Let's assign it to a variable name called selected products. And then we can filter our df over here. Let's bring this to new line so that it will be nicely indented. Here in the data frame, we need to filter with where data frame product value is in selected products. Yeah. Now let's rerun the file. See, it is filtered now. Let's remove laptop. So it got removed like this. But there is one problem with this one. If you clear all of them, it doesn't show anything on the page. In order to solve this, we can add a simple if loop. If selected products is present, then do this one, else just simply display a complete data frame. Perfect. So if you are not chosen anything, then it will show everything, and if you have selected any one of them, then it will filter only that particular one. So now I'll explain another function in the data elements, which is a table, ht.table, which is very similar to data frame, but the only difference is here you can sort these things and you can do a lot of operations out of the box, right? Let's say sort this one, this one, this one. But with a table, it will just print the static data. You cannot sort or do anything over here. And also with the data frame, you can also do a search from here. You can search with anything like a text store or keyboard. It will just highlight in this red color. Let's say if I want to search for a number 1200, it is showing up here. Okay. And also you can click on a download over here. It will download the CSV file. See, it is asking for a download. So that is the difference between table and data frame. Let me comment this out. So now let me explain another important function in the data elements. It is called a column config. The use of column config is, for example, here, let's say you have a column called product. Whenever you hover, you want to display some kind of a help text, or here you have a list of elements. Instead of this list, if you want to show a graph, or here you have a link, but it is not clickable. You cannot click on it, right? And also here you have an image. Instead of this image URL, if you want to display the actual image over here, all these things we can do with the column configs. So for that, we need to start with our configuration. So I'm calling it as a column configuration. It is just a variable name. You can call it whatever you want. And then it accepts the dictionary values over here. So here it will take the name of the column, which is a product. And then I want to transform this as a column config. The name of the column I'm going to give it as a product name. And then the help text I'm going to give it as a, this is the product name. And then okay, here we need to mention what the type of the column, like a text column. For now, keep the configuration simple. So I'm going to add another data frame. This is the option value. So column config equal to our variable name, column configuration. Let's save this one and see. So nothing changed here, right? But if you hover over this one, you can see the help text. This is the product name. Similarly, let me add a line chart for this sales last 6 months column. Let me go over to our variable and then add another one called sales last. So let's put this as a line graph, column config, and then line chart column, and then the label sales over last 6 months. Let's see how does it look. See, instead of this raw data, we converted it into nice graph. Similarly, let's convert this website to clickable URL. Let me add another column over here. It's a website, and then st.column config, and then the name of the function will be link column. Let's give it as website only. Then now you can click on these values. So here in the original data frame, it is a plain text, but here it turned as a URL. Okay. And if you scroll to the right, let's convert these image URLs to the actual image. Let me go to it, put a comma, then image, let's give it as a column config dot image column and call it as an image. So you can see here there are nice images are getting displayed here. Not only this, there are several functions available in the column configurations. You can see the full list in the documentation. So as I said, go to docs and then click on API reference and then click on data elements over here. Then you can expand the column config and then you can see the full list over here. Okay. Now let me bring this to the left hand side and show here. As of now, we are seeing only the data over here, right? We are not editing it. So there is another function called st.data-editor, which will give us the flexibility to edit the data. If you see here, I have saved it. Let me click on rerun. Then you can see the edit buttons over here, and then you can just maybe laptop 2 enter over here, and maybe the price you can change it to 1300 or something like that. You can perform all kind of operations, and you can capture this edited data in another data frame, maybe uh, edited data equal to, and then you can print that edited data frame dot edited data over here. See, you can print over it here. I would like to show you another function called a metric. Let's say if you want to display humidity or temperature, those kind of metrics, and the metrics accepts label. Let's give it as a temperature, and then the value equal to, maybe it's pretty hot now, let's give 91 Fahrenheit, and then the delta is like how much it changed from the previous day or previous value. Let me give it changed 3 Fahrenheit, then it will display something like this. Okay, and if you give a negative values in the delta, it will show you the negative trend. Here I have hard coded the values, but in reality we will fetch these values from some API or something, and then we'll display in our page. So with this, we are done with the data elements. Let us start with the chart elements. Let me put a divider over here. Chart elements dot divider, just to display the division between the previous section. Let me click on rerun. Cool. For the chart elements, I would like to import the world population data and show a graph how the each country's population is growing along the years. So let me put a title over here. World population exploration, and then let's read the data frame. I'm calling it as a population equal to pd.read csv, and then world population, and just print this data set in our page. st.data frame, and then give the population, save it. You should see the data set now. You can see here the year is coming in the first column and followed by each country name and the respective population according to that particular year. Here I want to read this year as a index instead of the default index, so let me do that. So that, yeah, this is the index, and we have the all country data as a columns over here. Okay, so let me start with line chart, and then just give the data frame over here, population, and just save it. We should see a graph now. See, all countries graphs are here now. In case if you want to add a filter to this one, we can do that. Let's say selected countries equal to population dot columns dot to list. We need to take that as a list, so I'm converting that as a to list. Oh, sorry, we need to put it in a data multi select, and then let's give it as a select countries, and then give options as this one. Perfect. This should work now. Yeah, here are the options. Let's say if you want to choose United States, you can filter it out, but we did not link these selected countries to our data frame. Let's do that. You can put it as a selected countries. This is if selected countries is existing, else df. Okay, so this is the data for United States, and if you want to choose another country, then you can choose them. Let's say maybe if you want to choose China, you can choose them. And let's do the same filter for graphs as well. let me copy this part and put it on the graph as well. Let me replace with the same thing. Yeah, you can see the dark blue is China, light blue is India, and the red color one is United States. So here you can see the growth of United States and the India and China. The relevant data also we can see it over here. So instead of line chart, you can also create a bar chart. The options will be same, only the function will change, like a bar chart over here. So this is the year by year bar chart graph, or maybe if you want to put an area chart. So there are several functions available. Maybe let me show you that. If you go to the documentation, and then if you look, let me minimize this one, and if you look for chart elements, these are all the type of charts available, like a area chart, bar chart, the line chart which we have seen, and also it has a map as well, but the map will accept the latitude and longitude as a input variables over here. For example, you see there is a latitude and a longitude we need to provide, and then it will show a map like this. Zoom in, zoom out the map. And also it directly accepts PyPlot, Plotly, and several other charts as well. In this video, we will be discussing the most important concepts in the Streamlit, which are chat elements, by using which we can create the ChatGPT kind of user interface, and then the layouts. These layouts are extremely important because by using them, you can well organize your web page. So let's jump in. Alright, let me create a file called part3.py, part03.py, and then let me minimize it so that you can see better. Here we need to import the Streamlit first, and then there is a function called st.chartInput. This function will give us the chart input field in the Streamlit. So let me run this application. Streamlit run and part03.py. Here you go, you see a nice page with a chat input, and if you want to change this default message, you can put your custom message within the chat input function. Let me put ask me anything and then save the file. So it is detected, file is changed, and then click on always rerun. You see the message is changed over here. And if you want to display this message, you need to capture the output of this chat input. I'm calling it as a prompt, and then just display this prompt on the page. st.write and give a prompt as an input to it. Okay, so there is a none. Since we did not chat anything, by default it will show none at the beginning, and if you start typing hey, then it will show that here. And if you want to avoid none in the start of the page, then you can put if prompt is present, then display this one. Now none is not showing up. Then you can type anything over here, it will show up here. This is looking very plain, right? We can beautify it with a function called chat message. Let me do that. Let me get rid of this with st.chat message, and we need to pass a name here. It will accept 4 types of inputs by default. One is AI, assistant, human, and user. By using these, the icon of the chat will change. So let me choose user and then display the prompt. Let me type hey. So see, there is a nice icon coming up here with a hey. If I change this to AI or assistant, it will change to robotic icon like a hi, like this. There is another simplest way to do the same thing. Instead of writing this with st and all, what we can do is we can write a st.chat message, and then name is like a, let's say AI or user, whatever you want. I'm giving it as a user, and here itself you can call a write function and then print whatever you want. So let's do the same thing and then go and test it again. Hello, yeah, it's doing the same thing. And if you want to do multiple messages, right, you can do like this and print. Here you can put AI, and then you can change the prompt to maybe some static value. Hey there, something like this. And whenever you chat something, it will show one user message and the response from the AI. So far so good, right? So let me minimize this window a bit. And then here, let me write one function for the AI response. Let's say definition AI response. We store our output as a message. Let's give some dummy message over here. Hey there, hope you are liking my videos. Please subscribe to the channel, and then return this message. So here, instead of giving a static value, we can call that function. It is a AI response. Then you can test it out now. Hey, so as soon as you hit hey, it is saying, hey there, hope you are liking my videos and please subscribe to the channel. But if you see, as soon as I hit enter, this text is coming up. But if you want to give us some nice typing kind of effect, instead of returning this entire message at a time, we can stream word by word so that it will display some typing effect here. So let me get rid of this return message. Let me put a for loop. Let's do a word in message.split. I want to split the messages based on the space and then yield that word. Yield function is used to return the parts of the function until it is completed. Yield word. Since we have removed the spaces using the split, we need to add them back. And let me add a little time delay so that the word by word will be separated with that time duration. Time.sleep, or maybe let me give 0.1. Since we are using time here, we need to import it. Import time. All right. And here, instead of write, we need to use write stream function to use the streaming functionality. So let me test it out. Hey, see here. If you notice, it came as a typing kind of effect, which is cool, right? And let me give another text. Hello. If you see here, the previous messages are not getting retained. The reason is whenever you do input or button click anything, the entire page gets refreshed in the Streamlit. So that's the reason the previous messages are vanishing. There is a solution to solve this problem that is called session state. Let me explain the concept behind this session state. You can consider this as a temporary storage in the Streamlit application. So during the rerun, the values can be fetched from the session state and can be displayed on the web page automatically. So what I'm going to do is, whenever I type some message, I'm going to put this message into the session state, and then during the rerun, I will fetch everything from the session state and display it on the web page. So that way we can have the old messages as well. All right, let me minimize this function. Let me start my code over here. So we need to check if the messages is already existing or not. If it is not existing, then we need to initialize it. Let me do that. If messages not in st.session state, then initialize it. st.session state dot messages equal to empty list. So here, instead of displaying the message directly, we need to put the message into the session state and then read all the messages from here. Let me comment these lines out, and if there is a prompt, what we need to do, we need to put st.session state dot messages, then we need to append these messages, append prompt, and then you can loop through the session state and display all the messages. For message in st.session state dot messages, then let's copy this line as it is. For now, I'm taking only user chat. Let's ignore the AI response user, and instead of prompt, we can put a message. Let's see how it will work now. The file is changed. Let me click on always rerun. Let's say, hey, oops, there was a typo here. I'm missing the S. Let me save it again. Okay, let me type something here. Hey, and then hello, how is it going? So this way we can retain the list of messages. So with this, we are done with the chat elements. And let me start with the layout. So please focus. This is very important part. Let me comment out all this code, then save it, then click on rerun. So everything is gone. So let's assume you want to create a user input field. How do you create it? Like st.text input, and then we can give some kind of a naming here, username, and then st.text input, and then the password. We need to give the type as a password. Here we have user. Let me maximize this one. Here we have a username and password. Let me put another button here, st dot button, call it as a sign in. Here you can see all these username password are coming in a one line after other. But if you want to put them in a single line side by side, how we can do that? We can do that using concept called columns. Here we need to define how many columns we need. Let's say I want 3 columns so that I can put username in one column, password in another, and a sign in the third column. Let me define them. Column 1, comma, column 2, comma, column 3, and then assign columns to it. Columns, and count of the columns is 3. Let's save this one. Now let's move these elements into these columns. Let's put with column 1, and then this is the input text. Let's put this inside the column 2, and then let's put this inside the column 3. Here you go. They all came in a nice order, like a username, password, sign in button. You can also check this alignment, but I do not want to go that deep now. But I hope you got the idea of columns. And now the next function is the containers. This containers is used to group the things together. Let me give an example with st.containers. If you want to add a header over here, header, this is header, add some kind of a text to it. This is text. Now, if you see, these two elements are grouped together. You cannot see whether this is inside a container or not, right? You can do that by if you assign a border to it. See, this is in a border, okay? And if you print any other text outside of this one, st.text, this is outside of container. Okay, this is the outside of container. And the next one is the expander. This works like a expand and collapse. So for that we need to do with st.expander and then give some name, click to expand, and then write something like a st.write and give some multiple lines of text here. Let's say this is line 1, 2. All right, let me save this. See, there is a nice expander over. You can click on it to see the content on it and then click again to minimize it. So the next one is called forms. So let me copy these buttons from here and then change them a little bit. We do not need these columns now. Let me get rid of them. Okay. And then let me indent them to the left hand side. Now let me create a form over here with st.form. Let's give some name to it, my form, and then these elements will go inside the form. Let's capture those values. Let's call it as a username, and then this is the password, and this is the submitted. Instead of calling it as a st button, there is a function called form submit button. So it will submit the form values over here. Then we can print some text over here. If it is submitted, we'll display st.write, username is username, and password is password. All right, let me check over here. Let me rerun this one. So there is a new form, and here let me put a Satish, and password is Satish. If you click on it, I have given the username as a Satish and password as a Satish. Maybe let me change the password. I changed the password. So username is Satish and password is please subscribe to the channel. And then there is a popover is also there. It is very simple with st.popover and then give some name, open popover, and then display st.write hey. And then you can give some kind of a input also, text input. Let's call it as a name, and then the text input. Then you can give what is your name. You can display this name. If name exists, then you can display st.write. Your name is, and then the name. Okay. So let's look over here. There is a popover. What is your name? I'm giving Satish. I'm displaying my name here. Okay. Now we are just left with two more functions, but these two are very, very important. Let me start with a sidebar. So we need to define with the sidebar, st dot sidebar, and then you can add any element to this. For example, I want to add hey and then some high symbol. Okay, let me save it. So you should see some nice sidebar over here. And in fact, you can bring in all these text elements or forms into the sidebar. Let me bring in all this username, everything to the sidebar. Let me call it as a normal button. See, you can display some kind of a username, password, sign in over here. It looks nice, right? Now this is looking like a website. So whenever you are doing some machine learning model or something, you can put all filters on the left hand side, data or graphs on the right hand side. Then it looks very professional. The sidebar you can also minimize using this button. And the last part of the session is the tabs. The tabs is similar to the columns, but it will hide the other columns while one is focused. So let me do that. Let's take 3 tabs, tab 1, tab 2, and tab 3. Then we need to call it as st.tabs. Here, if you see the tabs equal to, it accepts the list. One is, let's say, home page, and then about, and then the last one is a contact. Okay. Let's save this one. If you go here, there is a nice home, about, contact. So let me comment all of these so that you can see it better. Yeah, perfect. You can add some text or some elements to it. For example, with the tab 1, you can add st.header. This is home page, and then give some caption, st.caption. This is a home page caption. Similarly, for tab 2 also add something. With tab 2, st.header, this about page, and then for tab 3 also, this is contact page. So if you see here, you can change the pages like this. You can navigate between them. Okay. For example, if you want to bring this list to the third tab, you can just put them over here. Yeah, it should be it. Home and the contact, it will display the user ID password. All right, more or less we are done with the main functionalities of the Streamlit. And if your application is a public one, you can also deploy it to Streamlit Cloud. Let me show how to do that. Here you can go to streamlit.io and then click on the cloud over here. Let me zoom in a bit. Click on the cloud and then click on the join community cloud. Here you can sign in. I'm going to sign in with my GitHub account. I'm skipping the login process, but you can do yourself. And then here you can click on the create app and then deploy the public app. Then you can give the repository name and then your branch name and your Streamlit application file over here. And then you can define some URL like a Satish Karangula my app 02 something like this, and you can click on deploy. That's all we need to deploy it. This is how I have deployed my previous Streamlit application. You can see its GitHub code as well. If you're interested, click on this one and go and check out the code. Here also I have used some kind of a columns, placed these 3 elements into 3 columns, and then I kept a divider and then just displaying these values over there. So more or less we are done with all the basic concepts of the Streamlit. There are several advanced concepts are there, but my idea is to give them introduction to the Streamlit. I hope you enjoyed all the 3 videos. And one more thing I would like to mention, that I'm open for a collaboration. In case if you're doing any project using Streamlit, need some help, feel free to contact me either over comment section in the YouTube or the LinkedIn. I will be happy to collaborate with you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.